How many remember Benny Gold clothing? During the golden era of streetwear, and yeah, pun intended, Benny Gold was one of the hottest brands in the industry. In the world of streetwear, Benny Gold is considered by many to be one of the pioneers of graphic design within the culture. For those of us that followed the brand from the beginning, it's hard to fathom that it's come to an end, but yet it did. And why is that? Let's find out. I'm Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com, and this is the rise and fall of Benny Gold clothing. But before we get started, don't forget to smash that like button. Liking and sharing the video is the best way to help us to continue to grow. We can't do it without you guys' help, and the best thing about it is totally free. But with that being said, let's jump right in. Years before Benny Gold existed as a global streetwear fashion brand, there was just Benny Gold, the graphic artist, plastering a decal he designed as a side project around the beloved adopted hometown of San Francisco. That sticker, a stylized image of a paper airplane paired with the phrase, "Stay Gold." It was a message from Benny Gold, the artist, to himself, a reminder not to get worn out by the long hours and frequent self-doubt common among young creative people working at their first corporate job. And with that message, the spirit of Benny Gold, the brand, was born. Benny Gold once said, "No one tells you in art school that design is actually real work. But when you get out there, you see it seriously is work." So I feel like I was getting beat down inside, and I made that sticker to try and remember why I'm here and why I'm doing this. Benny moved to San Francisco the day after receiving his BFA from Savannah College of Art and Design in 1998. Talent plus hustle opened doors for him at some of the Bay Area's top design firms and ad agencies. His first plunge into the streetwear world came when he began working at Huff. Benny learned a lot from his time with the streetwear legend, and credits keep with giving him the confidence to stake out on his own with his brand. Benny Gold, the brand, started to actually take shape through side projects Gold worked on at night and on the weekends. As demand grew for the stickers and graphic t-shirts that Gold at that point was producing in his spare time, he started investing more of his time into building his brand into a business. And around 2008, inventory had begun to overwhelm his house. Quote, "The t-shirt business started getting bigger and bigger, and my home office got cluttered with product," Gold said. Requirements for that first space were fairly straightforward. Gold needed office space to do design work, both for his own projects as well as select jobs for corporate clients, which he continued to take on until 2010, and warehouse space to house inventory. The retail storefront wasn't really originally in the plan. While walking his dog to the local coffee shop one morning, he noticed this Art Deco looking building. And then one day, a for rent sign popped up on it. So he called the people up, made the deal, and ended up renting it. The storefront gave him the idea to do a little pop-up show for new releases, and they were more successful than he expected. So he decided to let the storefront keep going. The Benny Gold streetwear brand rose from grassroots to its own local stardom by what seemed like a fluke at first. While Gold loved the space and its proximity to his home, the business began to outgrow it quickly. With retail now being a priority, he began looking for a location with more foot traffic. Within a year, he relocated to the now famous storefront in the heart of San Francisco's Mission District. And as a side note, when Benny and the guys first got the spot in San Francisco, they were paying like $1,500 a month. Now, spaces in the same area are going for about $15,000 per month, which is a testament of how outrageous real estate has gotten in San Francisco. Like, damn, how can you afford to run a business with those kind of rent prices? But anyway, back to the story. Staying gold is always what shaped the brand, what preserves our sense of self, and what keeps us young, Gold once said on the Benny Gold website. When it came time for me to establish my own brand, I stayed true to that concept. The Benny Gold brand quickly became a fixture of the city, carrying casual attire and skate goods, as well as local conversation and communal spaces fueled by pour-over coffees. Benny Gold's designs inherited a retro twist, with the brand's iconic paper plane being hidden in plain sight among backpacks, hats, and t-shirts like tiny Easter eggs. Benny Gold's swag, because yeah, people love to use the word swag in those days, felt like a blend of both minimalism and vogue, with designs as simple and aerodynamic as the logo itself. Consisting mainly of t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hats, silk-screened and stitched with stylized Benny Gold logos and catchphrases like, "In gold we trust." The line sold out in stores and on the websites within days, and pieces were being offered on eBay for several times the original retail price. Gold credits graphics he saw as a youth on the bottom of skateboard decks for sparking his interest in art, and this showed through in some of the graphic designs that the brand would later use. Throughout the brand's run, they displayed evolution, from its skateboard roots with graphic tees and hats to the obligatory cut and sew. Benny Gold clothing was always, in my opinion, one of the more appealing players in the game. But much like the video we did last week on cause, Benny Gold had no real interest in selling out. It all started as a side project that he would do, and he would give away t-shirts to his friends. Then it got really popular, and stores like Zoomies and PacSun and Active started hitting him up. The business grew pretty fast. He opened the retail store to meet the demand, and the line expanded. He started making bottoms, socks, and hats. And with that type of growth, you have to become a businessman. You have to worry about making the types of products that sell and the sales forecast and a whole bunch of stuff. Benny stated once, "I'm a creative person, and I got into this for the sole reason of creating things. I started to lose sight of why I started the brand and what made me passionate about it. I was worrying about payroll, growing, meeting demands, keeping the lights on, changing the toilet paper in the bathroom. It got to the point to where the stuff that I enjoyed was becoming less and less." Benny expressed his displeasure with the modern game in a statement saying, quote, "All of a sudden, everyone knows about streetwear and thinks there's money in it. The people that were doing it for a long time, like me and all of the other brands that were there from the beginning, we didn't get left behind, but the money is being made by companies that have the big investments and huge advertising budgets." The range is much broader than just the people in the know now. Before, it was a very cultural thing. If you knew about it, you supported the brands. Now, there's millions of brands out there, so you have to advertise. He stated there was a time where he actually considered how to keep the brand moving forward and how much revenue he had to bring in monthly. He weighed out all of his options and started talking to potential investors. He had been turning down investor meetings since the brand started, mainly because he didn't need it. But it got to the point to where for the brand to move forward, he would need more money. Benny stated in an interview with The Hundreds, quote, "So I started taking meetings in LA and New York. Every investor that I met with talked about changing the brand. They would say things like, 'We've got to move more in the urban direction with it. We need more bang for our buck. We need the shirts to match current Jordans that's coming out,' or 'We're making all this money in the urban stores in the South. There's really no money in streetwear or skate boutiques anymore because they're few far in between," end quote. "For me to get an investor, I would have to change the brand," he said. "I felt defeated. I was hoping that someone would see the value in what was built already instead of trying to change it. So in the end, much like Cause, when the flame burned out, rather than selling it to some big investment firm, Benny Gold closed up shop." In 2019, Benny Gold closed up his retail stores and began the process of calling it a day. From numerous collaborations in brick and mortar stores, Benny Gold became a fixture in the San Francisco community, offering season after season of casual, skate-driven soft goods, neighborly conversation with each visit, and a decent cup of coffee. In a show of artistic character, rather than having his cherished brand morph into something that he no longer recognizes or feels connected to, Benny closed down his namesake brand to begin a new chapter in life. And when he realized that he wanted to totally focus on being creative, he put it out in the universe that he wanted to make a change in his life, just to see what happened. He eventually got a call from ad agency Goodby Silverstein and Partners. Ultimately, he liked what they were talking about in the meeting and decided to take on a new role as designer with the company. Benny summed up his brand's success perfectly by stating, quote, "I'm really proud of what I built. My biggest takeaway is that you never really know how big something can be, especially if you're not looking to make it big. A lot of people will come into the store during office hours and they would always have these big goals. I need to be as big as you. I need to have a car like Nick Diamond. I need to have 100,000 followers before I launch this brand." But really, if you're just doing things because you want to do it and you really give a shit about what you're doing, then that makes things start to grow and gain a lot of momentum. In the end, Benny Gold existed in the prime of streetwear, a time before it got all over commercialized. It was more pure and passion focused. And when things got a bit too buttoned up for him, he bowed out and moved on to the next creative endeavor, just like any true artist. What do you think? Do you remember Benny Gold clothing? Hit us up in the comment section and let us know. Also, if you haven't by now, don't forget to hit the like button. As I always say, liking and sharing the video is the best way to help us to continue to grow as a channel. And if you want to be updated every time we drop a new video just like this one, then hit the subscribe button and then the notification bell. This way you'll be dinged whenever a new video drops. But with that being said, I'm Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com signing out until next time. Peace.